Hey, this is Brianna Ruelas from the Ruelas Music Group. And if you really want to learn how to level up your life, you should be listening to the Time to Shine Today podcast with my good friend, Scott Ferguson. Let's level up.
Time to Shine Today podcast, Varsity Squad. This is Scott Ferguson. And I had the pleasure of bringing my really good friend, Brianna Ruelas, back on for a 2.0 interview. And Brianna is went very far as a contestant on American Idol. She really helps people level up their stage presence, but really now she's moving into the coaching arena. I'm so glad that she did. I mean, she's kind of a competitor now. I'm just kidding, Brianna, but no, seriously, she's just cut out to really help people level up. And during this interview, she shared some of her knowledge nuggets that I actually kind of stole a couple, but don't tell anybody, to help out with a certain client of mine that's just really, she's just so giving, so open-hearted, so heart-centered. And it was just such a pleasure talking to her. So if you know anybody that's really looking to level up their life, whether it's like in the entertainment business or just somebody that's really going through a challenge, please let me make a warm introduction to my good friend, Brianna. And if you like it, again, please hit the like button. It really helps with my sponsors and affiliates. And also, there might be someone out there that you really needs to hear her message. So without further ado, here's my really good friend, rock star, stage rocker, Brianna Ruelas. Let's level up. Time to Shine Today podcast, Varsity Squad. We are back, and I have a 2.0 interview with my good friend, Brianna Ruelas from the Ruelas Music Group. And she was helping kind of people become kind of reality stars in our last interview, which she doesn't turn that business down. Trust me, if someone was to come to her, she would definitely help them out. But I'm so blessed that she's really moved into the coaching arena. I think she was born to do it. She's so empathetic, so energetic, and just so fun. You know, and she's a Dallas-based keynote speaker and singer, creative cultivator, and strategist and best-selling author, which I do have her book here, which the book that she wrote, the chapter on let your song make you, not break you. Like that actually covered even I read the whole thing on one flight that do a speaking event, and I was like, man, she can really bring it. And now she's bringing it really in the coaching world. And as a multifaceted entrepreneur, Brianna helps business professionals effortlessly ignite motivation, innovation, and performance so they can love the work that they do. In her keynotes, Brianna integrates live performance, which she has a voice, squad. It's like sick. You have to check out her sizzle reel, which I'll make sure I post here as well. She integrates the live performance, original music to reinforce key concepts that ignite motivation, innovation, and performance. Brianna believes we can reimagine the future of work, and is on a mission to empower professionals to align with and share their natural gifts and strengths to create meaningful contribution in the world around them. And Brianna, thank you so much for coming on. Please introduce yourself again to the Time to Shine Today podcast, Varsity Squad. But first, what is the secret superpower or talent that you have that nobody really knows about?
Ooh, first of all, thank you, Scott. I am so excited to be back. Love you so much. I would say the superpower that nobody knows about. Well, I would just say my brain works it's like I said, multifaceted. Okay. So I think my superpower is actually my ability to, when the stuff hits the fan, I do have the ability to just take a deep breath and analyze it and look at all of it and still move forward and not be completely like paralyzed. And I think it's kind of hidden, right. But I'm able to like push through and see all the moving pieces, but in a calm, collected way, and press forward. Cause I feel like there's been a lot of adversity that I have overcome. Sure. Yeah.
I love it. And you definitely have that. You have to, especially in the world you were in, where there's buku rejection, right? Absolutely. I mean, there was like crazy, and you have the ability to respond instead of react, and that's fantastic. So, Brianna, tell us what's new. What's going on with you right now? I know we talked a little bit off mic, but I want the squad out there to hear it and how you're really very unique way of really leveling people up. So let's catch us up.
Okay. Yes. So as you mentioned, I do not turn down requests to get people prepped for reality singing show auditions. I actually just prepped 2 artists this week for American Idol and AGT, and they had amazing auditions. So that was exciting. But I have really moved away from that because I would say, a little less than a year ago or so, I just started receiving a lot of, I always call it like the whispers. I started just like getting this like huge tug, like very uncomfortable tug in my heart that I was supposed to be moving into a very new direction. And when I say new, it's not as if it's a place I've never been before. Let's just say that. However, the one thing that I kept hearing was, Brianna, I want you to use it all. Like the strategies, the music, the songwriting, like bring everything that you bring to the table, your past experiences that maybe you're not even that proud of, your talent, your American Idol experience, all these things. And I want you to bring them all to the table and not leave any of them behind. And I remember thinking like the words use it all. I remember thinking, what does that mean? Like, how am I going to bring music and all the strategy coaching and business coaching that I've been doing? How am I going to wrap that up together in a bow? But that's what I heard, is that I want you to bring it all and not leave any of it behind. So once I started processing that, I realized, oh, wow, I'm stepping into something very, very new.
Love it. So you're really, I'm not a big believer in getting out of your comfort zone. I'm a believer of stretching the comfort zone. But to use it all, was that like an intuition talking to you? Something that you kind of picked up, or did someone actually say that to you?
No, okay. So faith-wise, I mean, I would say it's God speaking to me. It's just like that. I always say like that whisper, or, maybe it's that gut feeling that you have, inside, like knowing it's time to, like you always say, like level up. We're moving up into a new space. And for me, it was time to move. Like I kept hearing the words like go, like over and over and over. So I had to sit with that for a little bit, and it was very uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, I recognize that if I just keep sleepwalking through life and going through the motions, which so many of us do, we have a tendency to live complacent lives, which is a huge part of my message. Then not only are we going to be like in meh with our work, but we're going to be meh about everything in life.
Love it. So what kind of people are you coaching now then?
So I'm working with female professionals, female business entrepreneurs. I'm also partnering up project-based with like HR departments. So corporations that are looking for HR departments, looking for project-based work, bringing in fresh, innovative voices, fresh, innovative creativity and strategies for employee engagement and employee retention. Because I think at the end of the day, we have a big problem in the corporate arena right now where now, a lot of people don't want to work, but they feel like it's a death sentence, so to speak, to be stuck behind a desk, right?
Sure.
But I truly believe that the workplace can look differently, and it starts with the individual. It starts with the people.
Yeah.
And if people aren't tapped into what lights them up, they're going to continue to be complacent, and their performance is going to be low. They are going to be, unhappy. And that's not going to help the overall business. So from a corporate standpoint, I love to bring in as a project-based, employee engagement cheerleader, so to speak, or from the entrepreneurial space with my collective entrepreneurial experience and business experience. I'm in there really creating plans and strategies, but also really digging in to help individuals. I love working with women in business. See what's possible, take away those limitations that we put on ourselves, but also dig into, okay, what are our collective strengths and experiences that we're ignoring? And what is that whisper that we're ignoring that we know we need to take action on, but we're too scared?
Wow. That's strong. And you're doing it in a pretty unique way, because you do coach people kind of one-on-one within organizations and groups, right? What have you noticed then is, because I believe, in our coaching world that everyone knows what they want. They just don't know how to talk themselves into it. Right. And the we're not consultants. We're like, if you're on stage, you're a consultant and you're consulting them on what to do. Now you're moving into coaching where we know that problem that resides in there, the solution's there. And if you tell them how to fix that problem and it doesn't work, they can be like, Brianna, what the hell are you talking about? But if they come up with the idea through your powerful questioning, then they're more apt to like see it through and grind it out. And every person within an organization is like their own little entrepreneur within an organization, right? They gotta bring it. And that's the way you and I like to make them feel. With that being said, what is the biggest blind spots that you're seeing with people as you're kind of really starting to maybe in a discovery session within organizations or even individuals?
I would say they are so focused on, I don't want to call it's kind of like the machine, right? Mm-hmm. They're so focused on grinding out the work that they don't leave any room for creativity. They don't leave any room for innovation. And to me, and they're also lean and mean. They're lean and mean, not only as an entrepreneur. Yeah. Okay. So I'm wearing all the hats. Yeah. I'm not taking the time to hire an assistant who can do some of the grunt work that maybe I don't want to do, or the stuff that I'm not good at, but they could execute quickly and proficiently. Mm-hmm. Right. So we're essentially not helping out ourselves because we're spreading ourselves so thin, and then we get exhausted and overwhelmed, and we have no space to innovate or to grow or expand. So I would say that is a huge blind spot, so to speak, that I do see. And I think that it doesn't have to be that way. I see it completely different.
100%, man. I love that. They're grinding it out, and then they're like going home and they're so friggin' exhausted and whatnot. They're not bringing anything that they could possibly, their gifts to the table. That's beautiful. So maybe while you're in these discovery, whether it's the CEO, CFO, whoever it is, or even one-on-one, is there any good question that you wish they would ask you but never do?
Well, I think the question that I would love to be asked, honestly, would be why, after being in the music industry for so long, do you think you're capable, so to speak, and qualified to, work with leadership, teams, HR departments, all of, but even, top management.
Right.
And the thing that I truly believe is that a lot of these top leaders are burned out, and not just the top leaders, but everyone below them. They're burned out. They have been grinding. They have been doing this work in a lean and mean environment for years, on top of the pandemic that we just got through.
Sure.
And I am fresh. I have fresh ideas and fresh excitement, but more importantly, I have like a crazy, weird heart for making this better. And I'm super passionate about it. And I'll be honest, the reason why I know I'm on the right track is because I can't explain why I'm so fired up about this. I can't explain where this even came from. It just got put on my heart, and I'm all in on it because I think my entire life, the biggest thing that irks me, is when I ask someone, so how are you, or how's work? What are you up to? And they're like, it's all right. And it's, again, it's the complacency. That complacency has always rubbed me the wrong way, because I think life is too short to live a complacent life. And I truly believe that we have the ability to create something of meaningful. And as I mentioned before, like contribute something of value to a world around us, which I think at the end of the day, that's what we all truly desire. We don't want to just live meh lives or complacent lives. We actually want to leave this world and hope to have left it our little mark, like our own little mark, but we're not going to leave that mark if we're sitting there, going, life's all right. Work's all right. And be okay with that.
That's such an awesome thing for them to say for a coaching segue. I mean, it's like, I get that all the time. What could make it better? And they, like, I can get people. I have that talent like yourself where they just kind of just spill. Then it becomes an hour of power, then a possible, working relationship. But I see that all the time. I just, what could make it better? Well, more pay. Well, other than that, because I'm sure that you could hit the, Indeed.com and something that could find the pay, dude. There's something else that's there that's, like you said, they're kind of sleeping, walking, going through there, ignoring their strengths in stuff. So that's beautiful. So what do you feel then your strengths are with your coaching?
Empathy and compassion. What I believe, a lot of people call it, like, those are the soft skills, so to speak. That I think that we have forgotten about compassion in work because we are trying to execute and just get things done. And it's all very financially driven. But I think the compassion and empathy piece is something that I bring to the table, as well as the encouragement piece. I am a cheerleader at heart. I always have been. And lastly, I have a strategic brain. So I'm very strategic minded and organized, but I think creatively and out of the box. So I love to brainstorm ideas and I love to think, but what if we did it this way? Or, looking for those other kind of out of the box ways of getting things done. But yes.
Love it.
Yeah.
How about your limitations in coaching? What do you feel like you are really tuning in to work on the most?
For me, I think I'm tuning in to understand or to listen better. Okay. I want to become a better listener because we are asking the questions and I want to create or help them create a roadmap to the solution. That's something I'm all about, those roadmaps to get them where they want to go. But in order for me to do that, I have to be a better listener. Because it's easy to miss something. I get so excited if I hear one thing, I get so, we could do this, and this, but then they just told me 3 other things that, oh wait, but we have to integrate that as well. So it's important, especially as a coach, when we're listening to our clients, that we don't miss the details because there's things that can get sort of buried and then they're buried.
Right.
You don't return to them.
And I love that you said a roadmap because, like, when I meet a client, if I'm blessed enough to have one in South Florida that I coach in person, I immediately go out to their car. One, I want to see how they take care of their car. Because a lot of times you can tell a lot about a person the way they take care of their car. And I give them notice that, listen, dude, we're going to go sit in your car for 10 minutes. And, they sit in the driver's seat, I sit in the passenger seat. And I tell them this rearview mirror here is super small for a reason. That's the past. You can learn from it and you can visit it, but don't live there, right? And this dashboard's huge. It can be scary. We got to get someplace. And I point at their dash, the console and say, I'm this GPS, your roadmap, right? You plug in where you want to go. We're going to get you there, but I can't get you there. You've got to buckle your seatbelt, put the ignition, and take that massive action, like Tiara would say, right? So I love that we're aligned on that. And that also that you were open about limitations as well, because both of us, you don't want to push it too much to the point where you're consulting them and it comes back on you, that you're wrong with that. So then, Brianna, how do you want, I think I asked you this before, I'm going to ask you again, but how do you, because you're moving into a new realm here, you've moved into one. How do you want your dash remembered then? That little line in between your incarnation date and your expiration date. How do you want your dash remembered? Has that been updated a little bit from before? Or like, how do you want it remembered?
I don't know that it has been updated because at the end of the day, I'm a heart-centered woman who loves people, so at the end of the day, I want people to really tap into what lights them up so that they can contribute something that they're proud of and feel like it's valuable and meaningful. And like every single day when they're going to work or when they are opening up their laptop, they know that there's meaning and purpose and value behind it.
Love it. That's fantastic. So how about your definition of a life well lived? I mean, I've been curious to ask you this because you've lived the entertainment side. You've got, family, awesome hubby. I mean, like you got a lot of awesome stuff. You're blessed. We're both blessed. God is good. But how about what would you think your definition of a life well lived is?
I would say the definition of a life well lived would be the people, like valuing the people and the relationships around you, and knowing the importance of like caring for them, being surrounded by them.
Yes.
Because we can get so sucked up into the rigmarole of life. And as we talked about the sleepwalking, all the activities, all the things that we wake up, and it's been like 5 years. I mean, I'm going to be sending my daughter to college, my oldest. Like, what just happened?
Right.
Yeah. And so if we can actually appreciate the stage that we're in right now, like really be present with where we are right now, because you're right, living in the past is no good. There's a lot ahead, but we also need to cherish and like relish in our present.
Yes, that's where everything is created. Like you were talking about, everything is done in the now. I mean, it's great to plan to live to 100, right? But maybe live each day to your best, or maybe like it's your last in a sense as well. But time to shine today, podcast Varsity Squad. We are back, and Brianna, we did this before, and some of the questions might sound familiar, but I have added some new ones for you as well. And you have 5 seconds to answer them, just like before, with no explanations. They can all be answered that way. You ready to level up?
I'm ready.
Let's do this. Brianna, what is the best leveling up advice you've ever received?
Best leveling up advice. Do it anyway.
Yes, do it scared. Love it. Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
Daily success habits, morning success rituals.
Beautiful. So I'm kind of walking on the street. I'm in my doldrums a little bit. You're like, Fergie, man, he looks like he might need a little help. What book might you hand me to level me up?
Ooh, 100 Days of Believing Bigger by Marshawn Evans.
That's a great book. And you're the first person to ever say it. I have read it. That's awesome. What's your most commonly used emoji when you text?
The hug.
Love it. Nicknames growing up?
Bree and Shame.
Love it. So, chess, checkers, or Monopoly?
Definitely Monopoly.
Me too. Awesome. Headline for your life?
Love the work you do.
Love it. And don't lie to me on this one, because I know that you're a performer, but what's your biggest superstition?
Ooh. I don't know.
No worries. It's all good.
Okay. That doesn't come to me.
Go-to ice cream flavor.
Mint chocolate chip.
Gotcha. There's a sandwich named the Brie of Shame. Build that sandwich for me.
Genoa salami, provolone, a little pepperoni, and some prosciutto.
Love it.
With some salt and vinegar and pepper.
Love it. You're my sister from another mister. I love this. Favorite charity and or organization you'd like to give your time or money to? I
love any educational, organization. So love promoting it. Organization education.
Education. Love it. Last question, but what's the best decade of music? 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s?
Ooh. I love, probably the 60s.
60s? Love it. Gotcha. I'm an 80s kid, I love the 70s. When I'm doing anything creative, I have the 70s on the background because everything's a story in there. But, when you're born in 72 and like the 80s was my like formative years of growing up, so much happened in the 80s, with music and stuff like that. I mean, you listen to songs now, the hooks are from the 80s,
that's pretty good point. There's a lot happening in the 80s. So
yeah. It was a decade of decadence. I loved it. I graduated in 1990, so I lived the 80s. It was awesome. So, Brianna, how can we find you, love?
You can find me at BriannaRuelasMusic.com, BRIANNA Ruelas, RUELAS music.com.
I love it. And so tell us a little bit about how you perform / teach. That's pretty unique.
Okay. So I am now doing what's called Keynote concerts. So I perform original music live performance, I actually sing in my keynote. So I'll do a 30 or 60-minute keynote for groups, organizations, corporations, etc. And the songs are going to reinforce the concepts that I'm teaching on within the keynote. So it's kind of built in as, kind of like 3 stories, 3 songs that take you through that journey and it's obviously motivational speaking and focused on really confidence, building motivation, and also loving the work you do, right? Thinking about possibility versus limitation. And I bring in original music when I do this. So it's very different approach to a keynote. And I absolutely love that I can, quote unquote, use it all by bringing in all the teaching, the strategies, and my music and my love for performing and encouraging others through keynotes.
And you're so good. You remind me again, you made it through a lot of the cuts with American Idol back in the day, right?
I did. Yes, I made it to the top 100 of season 4, which is OG season.
Okay.
Carrie Underwood won that year, and there was 100,000 who auditioned. That was one of the top or the largest audition pool of American Idol. I believe season 5 was the largest after 4.
Yeah, it was with Carrie, and wasn't Daughtry in there too?
Michael Daughtry. Let's see. No, I want to say Adam Lambert was.
Adam Lambert, and then Bo Weiss, right?
Oh yeah, that's right.
He took second, didn't he, or third or something? Yeah, that's the last season I ever watched.
Oh,
I swear, that was literally the last season I ever watched. I was really into it. I think it had to do with my ex-wife, and us watching it. And we divorced in 2006 or 7. Okay, so it was that's when it was done. I was like, okay,
that was that.
Yeah, that was that.
I always tell people, I thought my life and my world was over when I didn't get a chance to proceed in my journey on Idol. And when I look back now, I realize that it was not an end, but it was a beginning. And I always share that because I have 2 books because of it. I've moved into coaching because of it. And there's so many things, and everyone can look at their lives and see those pivotal events that have led one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. And that's why I always say that none of your story goes to waste. All your experiences are meaningful and valuable. And those are parts of the things that you can always bring to the table. So,
and you brought the goodness of it and really help people. And you've gotten contestants on, and gotten them far. And it's just, you have such a huge heart and you're just amazing. I'm so happy we are aligned. And do me one last solid and leave us with one last knowledge nugget that we can take with us, internalize, and take action on.
Absolutely. So, I talked earlier about the success habits and the daily morning success rituals. And what I found is that when I'm not into my morning routine of, the walk or the run, followed by maybe 5 minutes of meditation, followed by journaling, when I'm talking about tapping into that intuition or that gut or those whispers, if we don't take that time, carve that time at the top of our day to really intentionally move into our day, then it's going to be really hard to stay on track, but also feel aligned in our lives. Wow. So I would just say, most importantly, make that a non-negotiable. That morning time for you to
my words
intentionally move into the day is a non-negotiable morning success ritual.
I love that. My clients have to give me 5 things non-negotiable, every morning. I get them. Because I have mine that I got to report to my coach. But yeah, I love that you use non-negotiables. Like mine are, planks, cold plunge, rebounding on the trampoline, 150 push-ups before I do anything else, and then ab roller. And those are the things. And then I go right into a 15-minute meditation, usually with a Dr. Jody, just something, because I resonate more with the breathing, more action instead of just sitting there. So now I love how much we are aligned. And squad, you just had some serious knowledge nuggets just dropped on you on a 2.0 interview here with my good friend Brianna. It seems to me, and I don't want her to take offense to this, but she's matured so much, and not in she was immature before, but in her approach to people and whatnot, she's just leveled up. I don't want to say mature, that's the wrong word. She's leveled it up to a point where hell, man, I would let her coach me. She has the ability that when, the shit hits the fan, that she can back up and respond and not react. So it's a huge, huge thing that you should have in life, whether you're a coach or not. She had a tug at her, maybe the intuition or God was speaking to her to pull her in a direction to really help her stretch that comfort zone. She wants herself and you to use it all and not sleepwalk through life and just go through the motions. She wants you to realize, to really tap into, whether it's through meditation or your non-negotiables in the morning, that what strengths are you ignoring and really work on them? What are you grinding out at work and not leaving room for creativity? And that's just, it's a shame that people are like lean and mean, like Brianna said, that people are doing that. And it's just time goes by and you wake up one day and say, what the heck happened? Brianna will help you create a roadmap to the solution because she's somebody that's empathetic. She really listens with her neck. She leans in. So it's not just with her ears, she listens with her eyes. And again, with her neck. I believe she's planting trees that she's never going to sit in the shade of. I think what she's doing out there with her creativity on stage and whatnot, that's going to be very evergreen. People are going to be, right now I'd book her, people, that I would seriously book her to come on, because in a couple of years, I don't think we're going to be able to touch her because it's so unique what she's doing, because she does it for the intention, not the attention. She could very well have just went after the music career and be like, look at me. But she stepped back. She's like, you know what? I did it. My God said, listen, man, I'm going to tug you another way to really help people level up. She wants you to value the people and the relationships around you and let them know, make sure that they know the importance of you caring for them. And lastly, and really the most important to me, is you have your non-negotiables in the morning. Carve time at the top of the day to be intentional and stay on track and get aligned. And if you want to book Brianna to come on, please reach out. I'd love to make a warm introduction to you, because she is going to align you with what lights you up. And Brianna, thank you so much for coming on. You earned your varsity letter for the second time today at Time to Shine Today. I absolutely love your guts. I cannot wait to collaborate with you in the future.
I'm so excited, Scott. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. Chat soon.
Hey, thanks so much for listening to this episode of Time to Shine Today podcast. Proudly brought to you by Sutter & Nugent Real Estate Excellence, who can be reached at 561-249-7266 and online at www.sutterandnugent.com. If you are a business owner or professional who would like to be interviewed on Time to Shine Today, please visit timetoshinetoday.com/guest. If you like this episode, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts. There's a link in the show notes to our website. Also there, you will see our recommended resources. We hope that you will support our show by supporting them. If you like what you've been listening to, it'd be great if you could just give us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe while you're at it. I'm your host, Scott Ferguson, and until next time, let's level up. It's our time to shine.